Hey guys, Dave here. Today we are looking at the e-bike that I just made. It's an Ebikeling motor kit, and it was about 400 bucks. So here we are. We have a specialized Roll 3.0 that we converted. It has 27.5 inch tires. I ended up putting a 26-inch tire on the rear, so it's actually a little smaller on the rear than it is on the front. Not sure if you can see that, but it is. And what I ended up doing is I ended up making a little 12.5 amp hour 48 volt e-bike battery, and then we have our controller. Let's just step through how this thing is built real quick. The hub motor comes with the motor and the rim. It's all ready to rock and roll. I took the brake caliper off of the other bike and put on this one, bought a new tire for it, and then the wire comes up here, connects into an extension, comes up around here, and then connects into the controller. And the controller only has a few cables that are required. We got a rear brake light right here. We've got our XT90S plug that we're using, the anti-spark, so we never spark. I like those. They're a little overkill, but they're awesome. And then we run two connections this way. They're plugged in right here, come directly from the controller. One of them is going to be a brake out into all the controls in the front. You have your left and right brake connections, which I don't have connected. I have this controller, the screen and everything, and then you have your controller manipulator thingy dingy over here, and that's really it. And then the other thing that you have that you don't need to plug in, but I did, is this speed sensor down here. So you connect it up and it just kind of clips on there. I put a little silicone on there so it'll stay that direction, because I want it to work all the time, and if Christina bumps it or something, I want her to be able to, you know, have a pretty functional bike all the time. And that's really it. That's the whole kit. There's not a lot to it. The biggest thing was getting these torque arms on here. So if you have a motor on the rear, you're gonna want some type of torque arm on it. So I've got this right here, and let me show you. So this is the torque arm right here. And if you're unfamiliar with this rear section here, this dropout is notched, so it's not just a circle, it's actually notched right there, and it's thinner right over there, and then it's a notch. So you put a torque arm on both sides. This kit came with two torque arms, which is super sweet. I know a lot of kits don't come with torque arms, and then you just have a little hose clamp that you put on the bike frame, and then I put the hose clamp over here. Due to its orientation, I put it up here on this basket thing. It should be just fine. It's not going anywhere. Cool thing about the bike is the fact that the throttle is connected to the pedal assist. So if pedal assist is 0, there's no throttle. If you've got pedal assist 1, then the throttle is only going to be limited to like 12 miles an hour or something. So we're just going to take it for a spin, do some top speed runs, and yeah. So we're heading out of the parking lot here, and we'll just do a couple of top speed runs. I was recording with the GoPro Hero 11. This was a little test. I wanted to see what the sound sounded like when you're using the GoPro Hero 11 versus the GoPro Hero 10. I know there's going to be wind noise. You were hearing some wind noise already, but things got pretty strange really quickly. Here's some sample audio on what it sounds like when you're moving quickly. Okay, so we're just gonna see how fast this thing goes. So you get this weird sort of double speak thing where it's trying to filter out the wind noise, but you're getting all this other noise. We were going about 29 miles an hour until we hit the hill. Right here we slowed down to around 25 miles an hour, and then as we crest the hill, this is just a slight downhill. We hit 33 miles an hour, cruising speed on flat. Right around here is about 32 miles an hour. You can see it, 33, 32 right there on the dashboard. We were cruising around right about 32 with a full battery. This is a 1200 watt, 48 volt system, 12.5 amp hour. So the battery is sitting around, I think, 49 volts. I'll show it later in the video, but here's a hill climb. We went from about 15 miles an hour to 21 miles an hour by the time we hit the top of it. It's pretty amazing. It's got some good power. It's not super torquey, but it just keeps on pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling until you hit 30 miles an hour. It's pretty incredible. I do like this build. I do like the fact that it's fully waterproofed directly from the factory. Ebikeling has done a good job in making a kit. An interesting thing to note, so that there's 3 buttons on that left-hand controller. There's an up arrow, a down arrow, and an M, like the letter M. It's just like your select button. When you first turn it on, you hold the M for a couple seconds and it turns on. And then to get to the settings, you actually have to hold both the up and the down arrow for a few seconds. Now this has to happen within the first 8 seconds of powering it on. Otherwise you can't get there. I was reading the instructions. It said to push the up arrow and down arrow. I did. It wouldn't go, but when you first turn it on, within the first 8 seconds, you need to push that up arrow and down arrow to get in there. And that works sometimes. Often I have to unplug the battery, plug it back in, power it on, then up and down arrow, then I can get to the settings. When you're in the settings, the default that I came with was 12 amps. It was kind of interesting that the settings were set to 12 amps, but I would pull up to 26 amps on the controller. So I've been messing around with the settings. It seems like it doesn't actually matter what the settings are. Like the power is the same. So that's a little weird from the Ebikeling thing. Not sure what that's all about. I'll have to investigate a little bit more. Anyway, I'll pass it back to past me so I can recap and wrap this video up. So that works pretty well. So we've gone 12 miles on this sucker since we've charged it. It's sitting at 80% charge. I don't know if I believe that because the charge is just that the battery life is just based off voltage on these types of systems. So if we go take a look at the voltage, oops. Voltage is 49.2 volts. So 49.2, what's low voltage? Low voltage is like 43 volts or 41 volts. I'm not quite sure. I haven't been able to get into the set. This is one downside to this. I haven't been able to get into the settings. You're supposed to be able to press these 2 buttons for 3 seconds and get into the settings. It hasn't happened. I can't get into the settings. I need to contact Ebikeling and ask them. Up that big hill, I was going 22 miles an hour and I still had stuff left. It has a much higher top speed and the power's pretty soft. I mean, for the size of that thing, the power's pretty tame. But that's great. It's perfect for Christina. So far, it's been great. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.